Good morning, legends. We've got a couple of games to go through here to finish off round 12. We're into the big round 13 5 games week, which will be lots of fun with plenty of teams on the bye and obviously also all our Origin players missing as well. We've got the New South Wales Blues team, so pretty interesting one there for sure. I'll touch on a couple of those players in that one and how that affects you guys. And we haven't, I guess we haven't exactly got it, but I think it will be the Maroons team there, which is probably just one big omission from that, and that's David Fafita, if that's the case, and that ties perfectly into this Titans game. So we'll get into this first, little touch on them, and then we'll go through the 5 things I learned with the big fantasy tip of the week, with a little deep dive into how many trades people have left and where you should be at and what you how you need to play this over the next bunch of weeks. So Broncos lost to the Titans 36-34. You wouldn't have thought that, that's for sure. But Keanu Keeney comes out with an 80, so we'll speak about him. I'm saving a little segment on him in the 5 things we've learned. But yeah, 80 and 80 minutes, an incredible effort. He ended up goal kicking as well to go along with those try assists and 4 offloads and 265 metres. So let's just say this is what I was hoping for at the beginning of the year when he was a flop, which he was until now. So well done, Keanu. Good win on that front, and kicked your goals as well to get them over the line. Not a lot of them, but four was enough to get the win. Payne Haas was 76. Welcome back, a big game from him. There's not a lot of owners that are active, let's say. Most of those guys sold him, but 27% still own, and got a great score out of him with that try. Big tackle numbers as well, which is very unexpected in this, well, for him anyway, but he did have to play the full 80 in the end, so he went nuts in this one, and Pat Carrigan got the rest, and that was sort of a planned thing, it looks like, that he came off with sort of 32 minutes done in the first half, and then Payne Haas continued to go through, and I suppose just never had the opportunity to take him off, with the score being fairly close for the majority of the game. What about Bowie for more? He's a very versatile player, isn't he? He ended up getting named in the centres for this one, and picked up a try assist as well, and yeah, tackle numbers weren't super high, but he got lots of run meters because of it, so we know that he can work hard, and it ended up one of his best scores of the year with 68, so good stuff for Bowie and owners of him. I'm still got him running in Supercoach, so happy days there. And did anyone actually buy him? My problem, well, I think most people's problem would have been that because he ended up getting late mail named in the centres there, that some people might have held off on that trade. But there also would have been a few others that had him locked in. But in that top 1,000, there weren't anyone, well, there was less than 35 anyway that would have brought him in if they did. And that's where we're getting our trade numbers as well in there at 13. So that's Bowie with 68, a really nice score, and someone we will need to be looking at for sure because his scores are improving. But obviously, we've seen him a few times now being moved out to the centres, but when that's happened, he seemed to get some type of attacking stat that's helped him out along the way. Walshy, 63 for him with a try saver and a turnover tackle in there. He almost got a second one, but 2 try assists, 4 line break assists, a couple of line breaks himself. Did a really good job, and he will be the fullback for the Maroons. So yeah, happy days for him. Congrats to that. And if anyone who held through last week, they end up with a really nice 63 there, which was good. Dave Fafita with 59, so slightly lower than what he has been scoring, but and what he's priced at, obviously, but still end up a pretty good score overall. 10 tackles though, and 4 misses, very very low on that front, obviously, which hurt his score. Like, he got the attacking stats and the good run meters, but the defensive stats weren't there, especially when he netted 2 in tackles for that game. If he's not actually in this Maroons team, and by the time you hear me in the next video for the team's analysis of mine, the round results video, that if he's actually out, and he'll be someone that we want to look at for round 14 for sure. Could also get back into the team, but if they're going a different direction, which is interesting, then he'll be someone that we all want in our sides, and a few people kind of got into him a little bit early, sort of 100k. We would have lost a little bit of cash at the start, so probably 100k undervalued from where he is right now. Carrigan, 54 for him in that 58 minutes. He did a great job, obviously, in that time frame to get almost a PPM. No missed tackles, 2 offloads. Captainers will be happy enough with the 54, not the best in the world, but the question is now, do you end up holding him through the bye period, or do you look to sell him, given he'll miss at a minimum 3 games? Carrigan seems to be one of those guys that he could still come out and get 58 minutes rather than, definitely not playing the 70 or 80. And if you can have these types of games and still have a good PPM, he'll be fine to hold. How good's Karapani? That try assist he ended up getting there with that line break was very, very impressive there. And he's gone 2 big scores in a row. Obviously a high 30 score into a 50 here. He looks like he's a very serviceable centre that has a lot of speed and a lot of the speed, the footwork, and obviously the passing ability too to get that try assist. So yeah, really good efforts there. Cobbo with 49. We should see Karapani back in round. We should see Stags back in round 14. So unless Cobbo, it looks like he's going to be on the bench for the Maroons. It seems like so. Unless he actually gets good game time, I'd imagine Karapani doesn't make the team the next time they play. Cobbo got 49. If you hold on, good stuff. If he's going to be on the bench for Origin, that does hurt him for round 19, if that's the case when it gets to that. But we'll have to see on that one. Up to you if you want to hold or sell. Verrills there with 49. You know that he scores well when he gets big minutes, so it happened again. Jensen, sneaky 49 in 45 minutes, was good stuff. Madden with 45 as well. No attack on this one. Aaron Clark picked up a try, and that helped him out. Still very low minutes, which is unexpected. You thought he'd be at least, I thought he'd be at least 40 to 50. Potential for a 52-minute game like he had last one, but obviously last week was just him covering for injury. And they still don't want to give him that bigger minute. So maybe he's just not fit enough. He works hard when he's on there, and they want him as more of an impact player rather than a bigger minute guy. But in round 16, for example, with Mo Fodawaker likely to be out as well, unsure if Fafita will be, but if Mofo's out there, there should be some minutes available. So if you did buy Clark this week, it should work out fine. He scored a try this week anyway. Fodawaker 43 along with Kelly and Ricky. Not relevant there. Randall with 42 with the try, if anyone is still holding on to him. Cleese Haas got the full 80, played on the edge in this one instead of Beau Fermor. So really, just the tackles down on the edges and a lot of tackles through the middle with Payne Haas, obviously, and then Carrigan really worked hard for his tackles as well with 41. So yeah, Titans didn't have to defend too much, that's for sure. So that's his score there. Cleese Haas 37. Piakura, this was going to be a good score. It ended up being okay. I'm very happy with the 36, but 49 minutes, pretty gross. So obviously held him, guys, and got the line break try. It was a good try assist from Walshy. Just give the man more minutes. That's my problem there. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but just someone make it happen. Will ya, Kevy? Sort it out. We'll have to hold through, I think. I'm going to try and not make any trades this week. We'll see what happens. But 36 for him. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll work it out. Work that one out, round 14. Mariner, Mem, solid 28. Not his best. Weaver, 26. Camprera. Pahulu, anyone that was looking at him, he ended up getting the big minutes. So he got 52 minutes but 20 points. And that was the worry with him, was that he didn't have a terrific PPM. But this is shocking. It couldn't get much worse than that. Obviously in a game that wasn't suited for middle forwards, unless you're scoring tries like Payne Haas. But yeah, Willison, 22. You hold on to Pahulu because it looks like he's a chance of getting some good minutes. It's not like Goz came on and did much for Piakura, hey? 13 tackles, 3 misses, 19 run meters. And then Willison with 22 and 27. Again, the middles was never going to be too helpful for them. Out there for sure. But yeah, for Fafita, if he's actually dropped, then it looks like Jaden Sewer's making that transition into that team. They've got Cobbo on the bench with Grant, and then a couple of middles obviously there. Outside of that, nothing really changed. Val Holmes still kept his spot. Keeps his spot, likely. So no Dangagai. Walsh is in there. It's a pretty normal squad, to be fair, with Cotter, the main man that we were wanting in our sides. The Blues, on the other hand, a little bit different, with their decision to go with Lomax and Joseph Swali'i. Pretty interesting. Reece Robson, I thought was about an 80% chance. Appy to not be in there at all. Matt Burton to not be in there at all. I thought he'd definitely get a spot in the 17. But Burton in the 18-man jersey, he will actually not be available for the Dogs this week. So another kick for Dogs supporters, for Burton owners, that he's not actually going to be there. Very sad for that front, because if he's going to be in the Origin setup, you want him playing. If he's going to be missing games, there's nothing worse than having 18th man be the guy that misses the game. So yeah, that's that one there. With the Blues, yes. So Crichton's going to be there. And it's really just the outside backs that was changed. Like with Teddy now, him missing Origin, it's happened officially. That means anyone that bought him the last 3 weeks has been, has crushed it. And going forward from that, is he a buy this week? I definitely think he can. He plays 13, he's going to play 16, he's going to play 17 and 20 as well. So only misses 14, 19 now. And if you don't need someone, to play as a purchase there in round 14, then Teddy's going to be your guy. Speaking of terrific options the last few weeks, Herbie Farnworth exploded against the Warriors here. End up with 2 turnover tackles to try saver, but the 3 line breaks to try, 13 tackle breaks, a couple hundred metres run. Was an absolutely terrific performance. And we have to shout at him. For those that own him, is he a purchase? Yeah, potentially for sure. But you have missed out on his big score. And last week he got 30 odd, so he could definitely go back to that and you'll be frustrated. But he could continue to go well also. He looked very, very sharp. But the man we have to talk about, the man of the hour, Ewan Aiken. What a player. 77 in the full 80 minutes out on the edge there. 51 tackles for 1 miss. Obviously, you can see he's, not a tremendous amount of players with cracking scores, but a lot 40 plus, which is good. And he was the pick of the bunch. Like, obviously, edge players and middles for both teams did get a good amount of tackles outside of Barnett there. And Aiken was just, in there doing his thing. 1 missed tackle there, 4 tackle breaks, 2 turnovers, a couple offloads to ground. 1 led to that Herbie try, and 100 metres gained. So can't ask for much more than a guy you pay, for a 50 average out of to go there. So grabbing him last week, got the smaller score, but a few people would have still jumped on this week. Very, very happy owners, that's for sure. Speaking of happy owners, Tamari Martin, 2 weeks in a row, he's absolutely crushed it. And won't be in consideration with Johnson coming back, but has had 2 really good games. And just a congrats to him. Exactly what Warriors fans would have hoped to get out of him. That when he took control, he was able to have a great game and help them win. And they won both games without Johnson. So that's massive for SJ, Tohu, and this whole team. Can't believe they're missing that many players. Anyway, Lussick with 55 and 70 was good. Ford 54. Plathy 57 minutes. Very happy with that. That's the sweet spot, I think, in the middle. If he can get anything around that, he'll be a 50 scorer. And that was the case here. He did lose a couple of points in updates, but the 54 points there is an absolute winner and exactly what I was hoping for. And I got it out of this game. Kind of saved my bacon, these two, which we'll see in the round results. But Ewan Aiken and Plathy to finish off the round. And he's going to be awesome. An awesome middle to cover for us next week in round 13. Barnett. Guys, any of these Dolphins plays you're interested in as well, obviously just check out round 14 and if you can afford to grab them. And if you can, awesome. Go for it. Barnett, 51. Didn't do his chances of Origin any disservice, but he ends up on the extended squad, sadly, for that. So, what about Luke here? He got on the extended squad as well. Martinez Lesniak got a try at fullback. He ended up playing Asako. When I was talking last night on here, they had the stats wrong. They kept giving all of Asako's kick meters and 40-20 to Asako. Dase Katoa's, Anyway, so that was funny. I was like, how has Asako got a 40-20 and 200 kick meters? But it was Asako, and that's why they had him on 11 instead of... and Asako was on like 54 at the time, something crazy. Anywho, that was good for Asako. If you held, you got the 2 tries, you got the 2 line breaks. You probably want a little bit more with those kind of stats, but meters gained were a bit down, and tackle breaks probably could have hoped for a little bit more. Rodney Kure, 47. We got Harris Savita there with 46. He had a great game as well, so congrats to him for that win. He'll be chuffed, and the whole Warriors organisation will be. Marshall King, 43, a bit down. Obviously, no attacking stats in this game, and then 5 missed tackles is going to hurt. Lemuelu, same deal, no attacking stats. Good defensive, 40 tackles made, 6 missed tackles, sadly, but if you did buy him, you're buying it at 510, not 700, like Aiken, so you can't expect the exact same output. Walker's 42, big minutes again for anyone who still owns him. Isaiah Katoa 42, so thankfully they got all of his kick meters in, but for him it was, the 40-20, the 2 turnover tackles. He had 11 misses, so pretty rough on that front. He needs to sort that out if he wants to be anywhere near a 50 keeper. Nichols, no try in this one, 30 minutes. Bromwich, same thing. Pompey, kicking goals. Hammer, with just a try in this one. Got through unscathed, and he'll be straight into the centres for the Maroons, and that means Fuller will be returning next week, unless he got injured in Cup. I hope not. Anywho, Kafusi there. Yeah, who's going to be 18th man? I think he ends up being for the Maroons. We'll see if that's correct anyway. Again, it was something that came out last night at the same time as the Blues, which they announced things this morning. Might be out by the time this video pops out. Avrilo 27, bit average. Bostock 25, and Joshy Kerr 7 in 10 minutes, and then Rochi 5 in 10. So sad for those guys to not get too many minutes on that front. And there you go. Let's move on to the 5 things I learned. So for one, we're not doing all 5 because I'm on Fiji time. Number 2, Talau and Kaunakini. Just wanted to speak about them. So Tommy Talau, I think he had probably, he's had a couple of his best games of his career, to be honest with you. We thought this might be the case, like having so much talent, being able to get in a team that can show off that and get him into a good system and get him running good lines and getting fitter and stronger, and he's actually being able to stay on the park as well. Like, we had that scare and he missed a week or two. But outside of that, since then, he's been really, really good and has helped out so many fantasy and super coaches out there. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him, because Talau and Kenny, 2 of the guys that are kind of on the fringes of NRL squads, been able to do great things. And this week especially, 63 and 80 in fantasy and helping their teams get to wins, which was awesome. Panthers there, they just don't lose back-to-back. So, yeah, they're an incredible side, aren't they? The way they come back and that Saturday night was a bit of and yesterday I ended up changing my tip from Warriors to Dolphins when I saw how many, just every one of their key players was out, and Dolphins have been playing well. So I did that, ended up having a shocking tipping week, and I think I'm back in sort of 3rd or something in my family tipping comp now, but we'll claw it back, that's for sure. But that game there, the Sharks-Panthers, I haven't been tipping the Sharks, and I finally went for them there, and then they cooked me. But yeah, Panthers played that bad last week. They just don't lose back-to-back, do they? So there you go. If they had this year, let me know. I might have missed it, but over the years, they just haven't. That's why they've managed to stay up the top. Very similar to that with Storm, for example, one of those teams that just continues to do good things. And then, yeah, that's the big thing with the Panthers. And then all of their guys stood up. Like, Cole had a bit of an average one last week. He was great this week. Give him a shout out there. Jerome Luai. Oh, that's the big one, actually. Luai making a 6 jersey. So played that well in that game. Obviously, Maguire was there watching. Hines still got picked as well, even with the calf issue. So maybe it's not horrendous, but he's still going to have a pretty average preparation. I just wanted to give a big shout out as well to Jake Trbojevic there with his selection as Blues captain. It's very, very impressive, and may as well throw that in there now and give my congratulations, obviously, to Dylan Edwards as well. He's done an awesome job this year and all the last sort of 4 years especially. So big congrats to him. Still Leaky and Lomax on their debuts as well. Good stuff. Jerome deserves it. I think the last bunch of weeks without Cleary, he's been amazing. Even though the team hasn't been spectacular until this week, he really dominated. But yeah, Jake, congrats to him. Liam Martin with his hamstring issue as well coming into Origin. There could be a couple of changes, but if Liam Martin was to miss, you'd imagine Barnett would come in, and if Hines was to miss, you'd imagine Burton would come in as well. So there's that. Spencer gets the bench. Isaiah Yeo gets the 14 with Cam McInnes as well, getting the 13 jersey. So congrats to him as well. On debut with Homole Olakwatu as well, off the bench. I think he'll play a really cool role through the middle and potentially some edge minutes as well, with Angus Crichton being there. And we'll discuss what we're going to do with all of our Origin players, obviously once the Queensland team comes out and through the week as well. So that's that. On that front, it's the main thing I wanted to mention there. Also, just a quick mention that this is where I've got the information for the top 1,000, which we'll get to in the trade section at 13.2, is the average trades left there. Yes, that's that on the Blues squad. Titans upset, I just wanted to mention that because to beat that Broncos team, almost full strength without Reynolds there, is very, very impressive. So good stuff to them. Yeah, just wanted to mention it basically. Number 5, their Warriors, they have their mojo back. So impressive, as I said, that to win both those games without SJ and just their DNA's back of just being able to find a way to win is very, very impressive. So let's finish this video off with our fantasy tip of the week. So last week, we spoke about praying for injury luck, right? So we spoke about continuing to purchase players that suit the entire buy period, right? For your team specifically. Like when I said, a player that suits someone else's team, like mine, may not suit yours specifically. So make sure you look into that, sort that out, and get yourself in the correct position. So now coming into this week, we still have to play for injury luck, but you can now use 4 trades per week, right? That's the scary thing. It's a good thing and a scary thing at the same time because, the average, the top 1,000 teams are down to 13 trades. 21 when you add the extra 8 come round 20. So from here, that's 21 trades for 15 rounds, which is a very low amount. It's less than 1.5 per week, right? Seeing that 1.4 type of range there, which when you can use 4 trades a week, you can demolish them very, very quickly, right? You can use, if you got 13 trades, that's 4.5 weeks now until you're completely, that's less than 4 weeks, so 3 and a bit weeks before you're completely cooked of trades. And that would be 4 rounds before you even get your extra 8, right? So you really need, that's less, as I said, less than 1.5 per week. Let that sink in, less than 1.5 per week. So position yourself according to your trade number, because some are going to have more than 21 and some are going to have a lot less. And in that scenario, a lot of people are going to run out of trades 3 to 4 rounds early, sort of round 23, 24, something like that. Some will have enough to trade a few extra times during the buys, right? If they've saved, if they're on 16 or 17 trades right now, they might be able to take a couple of those luxury trades during that time. Or some might have a couple left they can use for those injuries and everything that pops up in those final few weeks. Okay, so keep that in mind now that you have 21 left, for example. In my situation, that's exactly where I'm at. I'm the average right now. Such an average bloke, right? I don't know. Anywho, 21. If you're running through trades here, they need to be specific. They need to have a purpose. They need to do a specific job. They need to be netting you well into 150 extra points. At this point, before it might have been like, if it nets me 50 or 100 extra points, it's fine. Right now, you need to be a little bit more specific with what you're doing. They need to set you up for sort of 3 or 4 rounds here in the buy period. They need to set you up for sort of 16 to 20, something like that. Or they're not worth it, right? Because if you've got Origin guys, are you trading them to someone to net you a lot of extra points over that time, or just saving that trade, lose you a couple of points now, but gain you back plenty in the back end of the year? That's where I wanted to leave this one with you guys. Thanks so much for being here, and I will get that round results video for both Fantasy and Supercoach at the same time later this afternoon. Have a good day.